A very good evening, everybody. Greetings from SIAM-VIT. I am Durgashri and I'll be your host for the event. SIAM-VIT presents Get, Set, Git, an ultimate guide to kickstarting your journey into open source contributions. GitHub is a platform for collaboration and version control. Millions of developers and companies build, ship, and maintain their software on GitHub. GitHub is all about the collaborative effort of the community in reviewing, improving, and deriving new ideas from the uploaded code. By the end of the session, you will have expert answers to all the 5 W's on getting started with GitHub. The session aims at its best to induce knowledge on the working of the giant software repository to all the participants. But first, let me brief you about SIAM-VIT. Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics is an international chapter with a population of more than 14,000 individuals. It is present only in 5 colleges across the country, with VIT being the only private institution affiliated to it. Many people have the misconception that we are a mathematical chapter. However, we are a technical chapter and we dive into various technical domains like AI, ML, web development, app development, etc. Our main goal is to advance the application of applied mathematics and computational science to engineering, industry, science, and society by giving opportunities to students in as many fields as possible through projects, research, industrial visits, and internships. So that is all about SIAM-VIT. Now it's time that we welcome our speakers and know more about them. We have 2 GitHub experts with us. It's my pleasure to welcome Vinit Sahadev and an alumnus of VIT Vellore, currently a software engineer at Postman, a GitHub Star, and a mentor in Google Summer of Code. Welcome, Vinit.
Thank you, Durga. Thank you so much for having me here.
Warm welcome to Ishika Kesarwani, also a GitHub campus expert and a data science and web development enthusiast. Welcome, Ishika.
Thank you, Durga. So glad to be
So,
here.
thank you. So it is, I'm quite delighted with your presence and many thanks for joining us this evening, taking out some time for us from your busy schedules. So here's a brief introduction to our speakers. Vinith, with a
Yeah,
proficiency in data structures and algorithms and enormous love for data web development, has contributed to open source, supporting numerous beginners to kickstart their open source journey. GitHub Star is awarded to thank exceptional contributors not only for maintaining repositories, but for helping to educate, inspire, and influence others. We congratulate you for the achievement and appreciate you for your noble work to the society.
thank you, Durga.
And
Thank you so much.
so currently, he's authoring integrations to connect users' API workflow with their favorite applications or services seamlessly with Postman. He's also maintaining a project for Girl Script Summer of Code and Rails Girls Summer of Code. Vinith is also quite skilled with a lot of programming languages, databases, testing frameworks, and many technical practices. He's also a mentor at Scalar Academy, helping his mentees in as many possible ways to become better software engineers. Now, something about Ishika. Ishika is an enthusiastic learner. She's currently a developer advocate at Codedam, core member at Google Developer Student Clubs, and a GitHub campus expert. She has several endorsements in machine learning, web development, data analysis, data science, and artificial intelligence. She's skilled at programming in C language, working with CSS and Adobe Lightroom. So, looks like the stage is set. We have the most appropriate and experienced individuals to guide us today with GitHub. So, without further ado, let me hand over the stage to you, Vinith and Ishika.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Durga. Thanks for having us here. Like, it's like always glad to speak at VIT stage, right? And like one thing, like thanks for clarifying one of my first year doubt that Shyam is not only for mathematics, right? I think that was the reason I didn't apply for this society. Like when I was in first year, like I thought, okay, this is
Uh-huh.
something with mathematics, and mathematics was like a nightmare for me when I was in school. Yeah,
Right.
thanks. Thanks for that. And I'm really, to all the viewers, I'm really sorry about my bad internet connection today. So that's why I'm unable to turn on my camera. But I hope like maybe in the next, maybe next time we'll meet face to face. Yeah, and it's glad to be here. And I actually enjoy whenever we have to speak about GitHub, because GitHub has it's like a homepage for me, right? So how I see about it is that, like, if you are a techie, your homepage should be GitHub, not Instagram, right? So the way, like, we used to scroll Instagram, I used to scroll GitHub. I used to actually stalk a lot of people, right? When I was in second year, third year, right? I used to stalk all the people who are doing G-Shock and different, different, like the basically the engineers from the bigger companies, right? I just want to see like what kind of code that they are writing, and that gives you a lot of knowledge about this, right? I mean, that's the best thing, right? So when you actually do something on GitHub, it's like a learning in public, right? So you're learning from each other. I mean, the basic idea is like you need not to work with Facebook to contribute there, right? So in open source, like, you can go there and contribute. So that has helped me a lot. I think, like, I joined Postman, and Postman was actually, if you guys don't know, like, it was started as an open source organization, right? It was an open source project on Abhinav's account, and now it's an established company now. So I think like open source has been a huge part of my life since I started my tech journey. Now, actually, let's hear from Isika. Isika, over to you. You can talk something about your journey.
Currently, I'm in my final year. So, like, I myself started my open source journey when I was in my second year. I was just scrolling through LinkedIn, and that time I got to know about Vinesh Hardio. I just read an article about him, and I went through his GitHub profile, and I was literally astonished by the number of commits he had, the number of contributions he had, and then I just looked at my GitHub, which was literally empty. And then there was some student chapter which were doing some open source projects, and they literally made me, make a profile. They made me make a PR, and that is how I started up with using GitHub. GitHub has literally been a very integral part of my life, and whatever I have received till now, be MLH fellowship or maybe GitHub campus expert, being a GitHub campus expert, the only one from Uttarakhand. I guess the all the credit goes to it. Just like Vineet said, like we don't make streaks on Snapchat, we make streaks on GitHub, and I guess it was in one of his article, and that is how I started with it. And literally everything that I've been learning, I've been sharing publicly on GitHub. I've been sharing it on Twitter, so it has genuinely helped me a lot. And not many students, they don't understand the power of GitHub, so I'll definitely suggest everyone to start with it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And just let me ask you, how do you start off? I mean, you have a lot of repositories, a lot of code out there, but what is your initial point? What's the trigger?
Right. So, Ishka, I'll go first. Or you want to go first?
No, no, it's
Okay.
totally fine.
Okay. So, yeah, thanks for this question. This is an excellent question, right? So, I was in VIT second year. In some, actually, we in at IT club's orientation session, right? So, they spoke about GitHub. Like, GitHub is something where you can put some of your code and you can basically show off. I was like, okay, let's try this out. And once I started, right, so I think initial years of my GitHub, right, in second year, like, it was just like 2 or 3 commits. Like, I just made a calculator using PHP, and I just uploaded it there. So basically, at the time, I didn't even know about Git, right? I used to upload that through the UI actually. And then in third year, I mean, I contributed a little more. So what I have done back then was that, like, whatever project that we were doing in the VIT, right? If you are from VIT, like, every subject has that J component thing, right? The project, like, web development, database project, and all. I used to actually commit that to the GitHub, right? I used to maintain proper README, and yeah, basically, like, I always made it open source, right? So that's how, like, I created a few of the repository, and suddenly I realized that a lot of people started forking it, and they started actually, cloning it and using it. I thought, okay, this is something which is making a difference, and that has triggered me, and I started contributing more, and then I started building small utilities, and that's how, like, once you get started, right, there is no going back. And then I used to. Then I actually established some of the organization. I joined some of the organization, started looking at their code and contributing with some small peers and all, right? So essentially what I want to say is that you cannot compare someone's last chapter with someone's first chapter, right? Trust me, like when I'm here, like when I actually look at the profiles of like the people who are now in VIT, right, or maybe the people who are just getting started with GitHub, their first chapter is far better than mine. Trust me, like my first project was just a calculator, and I see like a lot of people, they are pushing full-fledged full stack project on GitHub as their first project. So that's quite interesting, right? So the only problem which I see is like people are not consistent, right? They do a lot of coding in 1 month and then they stop, like basically, right? So consistency is the key there. And how to get started is that, like initially you might not find very good projects to contribute, because that requires some of the prerequisite knowledge and all. So what you can do, uh, as a beginner, you can start maintaining your own project, like whatever you are learning. Even though if you are doing solving questions on lead code, just create a repo saying the lead code solutions, keep pushing it, right? That way, at least you will be familiar with the GitHub ecosystem, right? How does the push, pull request, commit, all these things work? Okay, that is one part which is done now. And then whatever project that you are doing as a part of your engineering curriculum, right, you can put it on GitHub, right? So you do a lot of things like I think in VIT in whole 4 years, at least 5 projects, right? 5 repositories are sorted. You can go there, put it, and like whenever. But this is something I think most of us follow that. Like we used to push our code, like we used to push our project on GitHub, right? But it's of no use if you are not giving a proper README, proper documentation to it, right? How to learn it, how others can contribute it, what's it all about, right? Because README is kind of a door to your project, right? You cannot enter a house if you do not find the door, right? So that's there, right? So in readme you can explain everything, like how to run this project, what is the motivation, how you can contribute. So you can find a lot of good templates on online, right? I think writing readme is an art. That's how I define it, right? So you have to write a very good readme that will attract people to your project, and they will start looking at this and they will start contributing, and you will start learning in the public, right? And then like once you are doing this, eventually you will be familiar with a lot of tech stack and the whole open source community and all. Then you can start looking for the different communities, right? So there are a lot of communities. I mean, they are focusing only on the student friendly project, right? For example, me, Shika, and my friends, we also run one community called CrossNote community, where we are helping students to actually connect with the industry experts. So there we have some beginner friendly project. There, I think Anita B.org is there, Ashink API is there. Even Postman has a lot of open source project. TensorFlow is there. I think it's like huge list, right? You can just search for Google Summer of Code organization. You'll find a lot of them. Once you go there, just look for the according to your tech stack. You can shortlist some of the organization. Let's say I'm from JavaScript. I'll select maybe Postman, Webpack, CrossNode, Async API. These are like JavaScript organizations. I'll go ahead and I'll find the beginner friendly process. I'll set it up. I'll go through the README. In README, they mention that if there is any prerequisite to learn this project, right? And then I'll start running the project locally on my system. And then in case if I get stuck, I'll go ahead and I'll just create an issue, or I'll start a discussion. Someone from the that community, admin or maintainer, will reach out to you, right? Because they are very friendly. Like they, you have to be patient and they'll come to you. Okay, you have to set up like this or like that, right? And then what you can do, like you can go through the issue thread and just check like some of the beginner friendly issues, right? So there are first timer issues and all. There are labels, like you can find even a website where you can list down the first timers issues and all. And then once you sort some of the issues, and then you can actually start contributing there, right? And if you, let's say you are a beginner and you couldn't find anything, let's say I don't know, like I'm not getting any of the issues. In that case, what you can do is like look at the closed issues, right, which is already closed and PR is raised to that, and that's merged, just to see like how people are writing the code, and how they have solved this problem, right, which is already solved. That way you will understand the whole source code, right? And you can go through the basically like to learn the code base of a bigger project, right? The best idea is go through the test cases, right? Once you learn the test cases, you will get the overall idea of that. And I think, having said that, this is one of the key area where you can find I mean, a lot of opportunity on open source to contribute, right? Because I know a lot of very popular project with 0% code test coverage, right? So you can add test, which can be, I think, one. I mean, the maintainer will be more than happy to accept your PR. Like once you start doing this, right? Trust me, you'll make a lot of friends. Like I have a lot of good friends, Ishika and all. Right? We met on GitHub, right? So I think like you'll find a lot of people, like-minded people. You'll start I mean, collaborating with them and start doing some small projects. And then there are a lot of student programs that you can join. I think Jessica will talk more about that, but I'll give you some highlight. Like you can join Hacktoberfest, you can join. I think Google Summer of Code, Google Coding. There are so many. I forgot. Like Outreach is there. Ishika will talk about it. I think it's like every month you will find something there, right? Every college has their own open source program. Like IIT Kharagpur Summer of Code or Winter of Code. NIT Patna has, I think, most of the colleges. So you'll find, I guess, like 25 to 30 programs. There you will find actually the beginner friendly project, right? Your goal should be to reach Google Summer of Code, but to reach there, you can start small. Like you can start with the Hacktoberfest, go to some of the college summer programs, and then eventually you'll see that see the graph will be like. I mean, it's sometimes it will be sine curve because there will be ups and downs because in VIT you have digital assignments, you have a lot of things, right? You won't be able to manage. Trust me, like that's difficult. Like the Ishika said, right? Maintaining the streak, if you are maintaining that, I think like that itself is an achievement, right? So I think these are few points. And be consistent, make friends, learn, review other codes. So there are multiple ways to contribute on GitHub, right? Let's say if you are using any open source software, if you find something is wrong with it, you can go ahead and create an issue, right? That's also a contribution, right? You are trying to make that software better, right? So if you find, okay, something is wrong with this issue, what we do, we generally Google, will find on solution and Stack Overflow, will stop. No, go ahead and let everyone know, let the project creator know that, okay, this is something which is not working. You can go ahead and just create a ticket, I mean create an issue, they will look into that. And even the documentation is one of the key part where you can contribute, right, as a beginner. So a lot of project doesn't have proper readme, they will just write how to set up this project, they will just write the steps for their own voice. Like let's say I have written for Windows, what if, like, how do we set this up on Linux, right? You have a Linux, you will face some problem, you can go ahead and just add these steps. uh, Apart from that, like even though if you find a typo in documentation, right, React official documentation, Node.js official document, you can go ahead and create a PR for that. That's also counted as a contribution, right? So that's how I think these projects are surviving. Like a lot of people are actually keeping an eye, because as your project grows, right, it's very difficult to maintain everything like documentation, test cases, your architecture, and all those community stuff like coding guidelines, pull request guideline, code of conduct, etc. Right? It should keep. I mean, it's actually a very difficult job for a maintainer, right? So they need that people will come and they'll contribute. Right? So I think you just have to get started, and I mean, magic cannot be done in a single night. You have to be consistent, and I think eventually in 6 to 8 months you'll find that you are into open source world. So I think that's it from my end. Ishka, if you want to add something.
I guess Vineet has almost talked about everything, but like I would like to tell everyone that like when I started contributing to GitHub, I didn't even knew how to write an index file. I didn't even knew how to use HTML, so I just started with it. I started with 100 days of code, and it went up to I guess 270 something days. I'm not sure about the number, but like whatever I've learned till now, I've just shared it on GitHub publicly, and it creates a sense of accountability to yourself, and since you'll be sharing it on public, so you can't just stop. So for me, I just started with that, be it be only for I used to code for probably just 15 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hour or 8 hours, or maybe I would just make some small changes and push it, because consistency is the key. That's exactly what we need said. And being a beginner, you can't just directly jump into big projects, and I totally get that, because when I was talking other people and their contribution was just so scary for me. So I just started small. I just started again from a calculator only. If as far as I remember, I started with posting some of the data structure questions, some algorithms. I used to post that. And then I started with development, and then I went to data science. Whatever I used to learn, I used to post on that, and I used to share it on Twitter. So I did that. And like when you're in first year or second year, you don't usually directly get an internship, but we still want some opportunity, we still want some learning. So I say that joining a community is definitely going to be the best thing, because over there they have a lot of tons of projects that is ongoing. And if you feel that you can contribute something to it, you can just join their Discord channel or Slack channel, and just again, talk to the people that you want to contribute, that you're interested, and that you want to know more about this project. They'll be more than happy to help you out with that. So do that. Participate in events like um Hacktoberfest, because that is probably one of the time. Yeah, I started using GitHub on that time only. So take that opportunity. So I just say that from my end.
Okay, so as you both mentioned, it's just my J component projects and data structure algorithm codes that are in my GitHub right now. That is all I am maintaining, yeah, and even I am in the beginning process. So yeah, okay, Shika. What is all about being a GitHub campus expert? Like, what should you do to become a campus expert?
Okay, cool. So like the GitHub Campus Export program is the first thing that will come into anyone's mind when we talk about GitHub and all the programs that is ongoing, right? So GitHub Campus program is an amazing opportunity to help your local community, and this program helps you to build and grow your community. It's not exactly like an ambassador program. It's not going to force you to do events. Rather, it's just going to be there and support you. So, like a GitHub campus expert, according to me, is a leader who are driven to lead a tech community in their campus. And they strive to build a safe and diverse and inclusive spaces for everyone. It's just making everyone feel equal in the community. And that is what GitHub campus expert is in a nutshell. So what they usually, like, the main motive for this program is to give the trainings to the community leaders. And if you want to apply for this program, the application form opens twice a year, one in the month of February and second is in the month of August. So for this, there are some eligibility criteria that you'll have to surpass. For example, you need to have a college ID which ends with stu dot your college name dot in. I'm not sure about it, but yeah, you need to have the college
Mhm.
ID. And the second one is that you need to be 18 plus, and you need to have a GitHub ID, obviously. And the student developer pack is a mandatory option for that. And they have two rounds. One is the application round, which is going to
Mhm.
ask more about your community, what's your contribution, and how you are going to make everyone feel equal, because they really focus on that. And secondly, if you get shortlisted, also, like most of the students, they get rejected in the first round only, so focus on the application round the most. And then the second round is going to be about the video resume round. Again, over here you'll have to introduce yourself, you'll have to tell them about you, your community, your contributions to the community, and what's your motive and what's your planning with this whole program. So after that, you'll be selected by the program manager, you'll be onboarded, and then your training will start. It will be of 5 6 months. I don't remember, but yeah,
Mhm.
you'll be getting a set of assignments which you'll have to complete, and after it gets verified, you'll officially become the GitHub campus expert.
Okay, that's interesting. And all it takes is persistency, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Vinith, what does it take to become a GitHub star?
That's an excellent question. So I think uh, I cannot do a justice to this question. So actually, everyone has their own journey, right? So I guess we are 50 or 60 GitHub star across the world. So I can talk about mine, but I have one article like where I actually interacting with my fellow stars, and which
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can find on Google, right? Uh, So there, like we actually spoke about. Maybe I'll see like if I could share the link over here. So for me, like I think like GitHub Star is is something like GitHub their own way of appreciating the people. So the way like YouTube appreciate their creators by giving them gold play button or silver play button, right? In the similar on the I think along the same lines, GitHub started this and they started giving recognition to some people. I think for me, I'm not sure like how it was never a plan, right, to become a GitHub star because it doesn't existed when I started GitHub. To be very frank, right, it started 2 years back. So when I started GitHub, there was no GitHub Star program, and then eventually, like when GitHub started this, they actually, I think they once you get nominated and they have given this award to some of the people, and actually I was lucky to be one of them. So for me, like one of the major contribution which I feel is was actually I'm really proud of was that when COVID hit India, right? So I was in Bangalore and my mom was very worried about me, right? If you remember the first day of COVID, right? When like there was some case, one case which was detected in Bangalore, there was a lot of rumors that in Bangalore there are 1,000 cases, 2,000 cases, and I used to get a lot of phone calls from my home that come back, why you are staying there, and right, though, I mean the anxiety of the parents, and this triggered me to build something, and I actually I didn't sleep for the night, and I built a COVID-19 tracker, right, and I made it live in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, and went for sleep, and when I woke up in the evening, right, so it was actually viral. Like I got a lot of WhatsApp messages and all. It was on the news everywhere. Like, okay, this has been done. I was like, oh. So this was actually solving one of the use case at that time, right? People want some real time data, and they were tracking over there, right? So I think this has something which has helped.
I guess
Hey,
there
sorry.
was some
There
issue
was
in
some.
between.
Yeah. My internet. So am I audible now? Yeah. I think that was one of the thing, and apart from that, like during hacker phase, like we actually me with my friends like Isika and a lot of friends I met on GitHub, right? We run an initiative to actually onboard people to GitHub, right? So I think if I look at the stats of 2 years, like last to last year we onboarded around 1,000 students, and this year I guess it was around 1,500 students. So we actually conducted a lot of events on different colleges of from different countries, and we actually partnered with more than 200 people and from the different companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, etc. And we formed a team and we helped a lot of people, right? So which was, I think, one of the things which I'm really proud of, because once this this got over, like when I spoke to the mentors who were working with us, like we got a very good feedback, right? Like when you make someone basically kickstart their open source journey, and then their PR gets more, and when they get goodies from actually GitHub and Hacktoberfest team, that digital Austrian, right? I think they used to call us that, okay, thank you so much for helping that, and that is kind of I think one of the achievement for us, like when someone calls us to know that, okay, hey, I got this. Remember, you helped us to create our first PR. So I think that is actually so sweet of them that they remember us, that okay, we helped them to actually create their first PR. Thank you, Durga. So I think that's it from my end. Maybe we can, Ishika, if you want to add something.
Like, yeah, hi. I hope that I'm audible.
Yes,
Right.
yes, you are audible.
Yeah. There was an issue in between. So yeah. During the Hacktoberfest, Vinny reached out to me, and that is exactly when we really interacted. So we held a lot of sessions. We told a lot of people about Git and GitHub and how one can start their journey. So it was indeed an amazing session. It was indeed an amazing event, and we did create a lot of connections, and we made a lot of projects. So definitely that was a really good event. You can continue with that, Durga.
Okay, sure. Okay. So, when, work is more satisfying when somebody appreciates, comes to us and tells this piece of code, this chart you gave me is really helpful for me, and I'm developing from that. So I get it from whatever you told. Uh, so yeah, I've distantly heard about GitHub Student Developers Pack. What is it about? Like, how beneficial is it for students?
Yes, I guess I did talk about it when I was talking about the GitHub Campus program. Before applying for it, you need to have a developer pack. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, not many students know about this, but trust me on this, this is literally a game changer if you're a student because, being a student, it's not very easy them to have the funds to afford the best real world softwares and toolkits, which are, quite very expensive. Wait, can you share the screen if it's there? Wait, I wanted to give an overview of the page also. You can share the link in the comment section as well.
Okay.
I think it has been posted in the comment section.
Uh,
Wait,
Let me
I'll
try to
just
share my screen, Aishika. I'll try.
wait. Is it there?
so it's a GitHub student. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
thing.
I guess it's there. So, like, till now, you might have just, you might just know that GitHub is used for source control and collaborations and maybe just pushing up your codes and making
Mm-hmm.
projects. But now you'll get to know more about this page. Like, it's like the other side of GitHub, which offers the bridge to your success. And using this pack, you can, get to know about so many more technologies. It doesn't matter in which domain you are, be it being cloud or marketing or designing. It has all the tools available and it's all for free. Like being a student, Canva is something which almost everyone has used, and they might not have used the pro account because students cannot really buy such subscriptions, right? And over
Mm-hmm.
here, GitHub is literally giving you a 12-month subscription all for free. Again, for domains, you get Namecheap, name.com. You can host your websites for free. Again, you get the Azure services. You have 25 plus Azure services, and you get the 100 credits, Azure credits. DigitalOcean, again, 100 platform credits. You can also get the Bootstrap Studio subscription for free, the Pro subscription. Now you can just drop and pick and drop and make a website. Educative for development, JavaScript, and machine learning. You get the subscription for free. Front end masters. This is personally what I used to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Development. I referred to the courses on this only. I got this subscription for 6 months, and I guess I whatever I've learned till now is just because of this website. Data camp is for the people who wants to start with data science. They have such good courses starting for beginners to advanced level. Again, tech domain is for hosting. Icon Scout is for probably the developers, or it's not the developers, sorry, UI UX developers. StreamYard for streaming your live streams. 1 month for development again. And like the list go on and on, and there's so much stuff that you can just get it all for free. So do check out. All you need to do is you need to verify the account, and it just takes wait, over here you can find it. Yeah, these are some of the eligibility criteria that you'll have to surpass to get this pack. And that is like you need to be a school
Okay.
student or college or university student. You need to be 13 and above GitHub user. And you need to add your college ID and your normal ID, and write your college name and how you're planning to use GitHub, and just submit the form, and you'll get the verification in between 20 to 30 days. So that's it
Okay.
about the student pack, and it's a really good opportunity. Not many people know about it. So since now you know, please do look at it.
Right. And I
Okay.
think at company, right, we are paying a lot for these services that you guys are actually getting for free, right? Neurally,
Mm-hmm.
Azure, and all those. So I think it's even the domain and all. So these are something that definitely I think all of you should check out. So you can sign in using vit.ac.in. That I think vitstudent.ac.in. Right now it has been changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone posted a question saying, "Can GitHub help me in CV?" Trust me on this, GitHub is your resume when you apply for a company.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
Whenever
It's
you
like
apply for a company, that's the first thing they're going to check your contributions and what all you've been doing, because they won't just blindly believe that you have worked on this tech stack. And if they see that how you have, started and how at what level you have come up to, then only they are going to believe on you. So GitHub is literally your resume.
so Aviral, like
Everything
either
is
be
just
pro.
out there. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
on.
Durga. Yeah, no,
No,
sorry,
nothing.
like you're
Please go
saying.
on. Go on.
No,
No,
I was
nothing.
just
Nothing. I was
saying.
just trying to interact. Yeah.
No, I was just saying to Aviral that either be very good at data success, like get 6 star or I don't know, like how many stars on lead code, or be very great at GitHub, right? So
Mm-hmm.
both ways you can get a very good job.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
So,
also posted one more question on, can you explain more about data camp? So I'll just give you a small brief about it. If you're starting with data science, then it's probably one of the best source that you can start with. They'll start with basics of Python and then data pre-processing, cleaning, and they'll teach you everything about it. And then to ML and DL. So again, you'll get the subscription for free from GitHub. I guess it's for 3 months only for the moment. So you can refer to that. You can check it out. Yeah, that's it. Again, only
right.
for data science students.
Okay. So there are so many resources available out there, and it just takes time for us to find them and learn to utilize them, right? So, okay, I have a question. How does open source help us? Like, what kind of contributions are we supposed to make, and how will it in turn help us in our resume or when we apply for a job?
Right. So, once you start actually contributing there, right? So, I'll give you one example. Let's say if you're applying for Postman and you write in your CV that you have already contributed to Postman. Now you know, right? That makes a lot of difference. You're applying
Right.
at Meta and you are saying that I have already contributed to React. Maybe you are applying for a Node.js job as a backend engineer and you are saying in your CV it's written that okay, you have written one module on Node.js. That makes a lot of difference, right? Because like at the end of the day, like you have to work with that, right? If you know that okay, you have already done that, I mean, you could be a right fit for us, right? For anyone, like for any organization. So apart from this, right, the other ways to actually get a job through GitHub, right? There are a lot of companies, like personally, like a few companies which reached out to me through my GitHub was like one of them was HackerRank. There are a few more startups. I forgot the name. They are US based startup, right? Or like just checking like if I'm looking out for a job, right? So I think there you can find like, and the other way would be like whenever you do G-Shock, right? Google Summer of Code, like you work with some organization. Let's say if you're working with Async API, you can then once your G-Shock period ends, then you can talk to your mentor that you want a referral or you want to work with them permanently, right? And then they will
Mm-hmm.
definitely look into that, right? I remember like the guy who was working with me for Async API project is now a full-time employee of Postman, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
worked with us for 2 months in Google Summer of Code, and we pretty much liked his work. And then we actually, the Lucas hired him right in his team. So this has happened a lot of times. Like I know a lot of people like who has actually got a job through this. But trust me, like saying this is very easy, but getting the job is tough. Like I mean, it's not something that like you'll just get started and you'll get, like there is a struggle. Like you'll have to hustle a lot, you'll have to explore a lot, but trust me, you'll
Mm-hmm.
find something. Like, whatever you are doing on GitHub, it won't go west, right? It will help you at
Mm-hmm.
some point of your life, right? So there are even if you are, even though if you have become just G-Shocker, you'll get paid, you'll get a very good experience. And this is a tag, right? You will become a G-Shocker, MLH fellowship, GitHub campus expert, if you get to become GitHub Star, so many things, right? And one thing which I think as a student I used to like a lot was the swags, right? Stickers, hoodies, t-shirts, and all. I mean, that is like kind of a secondary thing for all of us. But when I was in a student, like I was quite, I mean, excited about swags, right? So you'll get a lot of swags, right? When you get to be part of these programs, right? You'll get like not one or two stickers, you'll get like carton full of stickers. Go and enjoy. So it's like that. I think, and apart from that, like how it can help you in getting jobs, like there are a lot of startups actually. They are actually doing something like they are analyzing your GitHub profile and they are referring you for the job, right? Just by your contributions that you are making, right? They are calculating some score and all.
Mm-hmm.
You can look for, and when you apply for remote jobs through Turing.com or Emotive.io, there are so many other websites, right? So there, I think like if you have a very good GitHub contribution, right? So that makes a difference there, right? So, uh, but like one thing which I want to note is that to reach there, like I think like never forget data structure. Like trust me, like that is one mistake
Mm-hmm.
like everyone of us make, right? Like, I mean, data structure is like bread and butter to your software engineering job, right? So you cannot become a software
Ultimate
developer if,
foundation.
yeah, before like you have to become a software engineer before becoming a software developer, right? So to become a software
Mm-hmm.
engineer you should know these, like I mean the fundamental of computer data structures, dbms, os and all, right? So I think like just keep this thing in mind. Like GitHub is quite exciting for all of us, like we want to do a lot of things there, okay, that's totally fine, but make sure that you are balancing your data structure skills with this, right? I
Right.
mean, because uh, that is required. Trust me, like when you write code at scale, right? When you are writing a code that's gonna handle the millions of traffic for Facebook or Amazon, right? Amazon
Mm-hmm.
Marketplace. I mean, you cannot be. I mean, you have to choose the right data structures to actually render the menu that you see in the Amazon website, right?
Mm-hmm.
That tree
Right.
structure. So yeah, so that is there.
So there's quite a related question in the chat. How did you
Mhm.
take out time in college for GitHub? Like most of the time gets used up in studies. We have to
That's a
contribute,
good
but how do
question.
we take out time for it?
Like for me, like I think in college, right, I studied only the important subjects. I didn't focus much on the subjects where I didn't have much interest. For example, machine
Mm-hmm.
learning, data science, mathematics, physics, and all. I mean, like that's not right, but I didn't spend much time. And rather, I think in VIT you still get Saturdays and Sundays, right? You can utilize that time. And in VIT, like a lot of time goes into like I think going to Rangalia Royal Velour Kitchen and all. I think I'm not sure if you guys are doing your courses offline or online, but when it used to be offline, right? Sundays and Saturdays are all about like going to Pondicherry or going outside with friends and all, right? Or doing panchayats in hostel. I mean that is great, right? I mean, do not miss this. Trust me, like this is something that will stay with you forever, right? So apart from that, like I think like if you make a good group of friends, right, and then you can get some time out, like the people with whom you are hanging out, right, just onboard them to GitHub and do some project together, right? Taking time is something, you have to manage the time, because this is something I think you are here for, right? You are doing engineering maybe for a job, right? So this is gonna help, so take out some time, and weekly I think 4 hours, 6 hours would be fine. And apart from like, I mean, just prioritize your work, right? So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to maintain 10 cgpa, then I think that is a different story. But if you want to maintain 9 cgpa, I mean, you can get B grade in one of the subject. I hope you you know what I meant, right? So you can prioritize your work accordingly. I mean, you need not score S
Mm-hmm.
in every subject that you are taking in your semester. And apart from this, make good friends, and I think like uh, all watching Netflix and all is totally fine, but spend some time with GitHub, spend some time with your ID, spend some time with LeetCode, HackerRank as well. I think everyone will do that. I mean, trust me, like you guys, all of will do that.
So GitHub is going to be a potential friend in the future when it comes to applying for internships, jobs, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, so we have a question. How much time in total is required for learning Git and GitHub?
I think
Uh,
learning Git and doesn't take much time, right, Jessica? Like you just have to learn some commands, GitHub UI, right? GitHub. like if you can use any other website like Instagram, Facebook and all, you can use GitHub, right? It's just like you have to be familiar with the different CTS there. Okay, when I click on the create pull, okay, this is how it's happening. But before learning that, learn Git, right? Learn basics of Git, like the commands, commit, push, pull, what is conflict, what is pull request. I think just maybe if you want, you can take some course or watch some videos. I think 4 hours should be enough to learn the Git, and use it for 1 week. You'll master Git. Don't worry. I mean the
I would
basic.
like to include one more thing. So, like when I started with Git and GitHub, it was so confusing and it was so overwhelming because a lot of things were happening. When I initially started, I didn't even knew how to use a command line. So I'll just say, it's going to be very confusing. It's going to take some time. Doesn't matter. You just start with it, and again, it's just going to take 1 hour, not more than that. But then again, it gets confusing, but with time you'll just get used to it. And again, you don't have to know all everything to know how to use Git and GitHub. Even if you know how to make a PR, make branches, or make resolve conflicts, that is more than enough, because you don't really have to learn everything before starting with it.
Yes. So maybe after we contribute to a few projects, everything is just in our fingertips. And only the initial phase might be difficult to some extent, maybe. Okay. So Vinit, I had yeah. Go on, Ashika.
I was just saying that I remember when I was trying to make a PR, it literally took me 2 or 3 days to figure out what I was doing. I literally made a PR 10 or 20 times without even knowing. So it's totally fine. You learn by making mistakes.
Right, and I'm adding to
Right.
Isika's point, right? So the way in 4 years of your VIT, right, every day you used to check your VTop login or attendance, where is my class, marks and all. The same way in your once you start your job, you are gonna check your GitHub or Bitbucket or whatever version control they are using, right? All of them, these are same, like they are just UI over Git, right? So I mean, you will spend most of the time, okay, whether my PR is accepted or not, okay, what are the comments, okay, why the pipeline is failing, who has created this bug, who has created the issue. So it will be in your habit, right? So start from now, learn the basic commands, and this is one of the skill which is required for all the software engineer, no matter in which company you are working in, right? So in current stage, all the companies in the world, even it's a company which is run by a single person, they are using it, right? Everyone is using it. So that's, I mean, that is one of the common thing, right? So it's kind of a language for developers, like so your code will speak via Git commands, like okay, you post, okay, now it's open to others.
Right. So, how do we make the profile fancy? Is it just about concentrating on the green dots, increasing them, or is there more to it?
uh, One thing, right? So on GitHub, right, so your code speaks, right? So the way, like, how do you make a very great Instagram profile? Put great pictures, your Instagram will be great. How do you make your GitHub great? Put great projects, contribute to great projects, your GitHub will be great, right? So I mean, everyone
Right.
has their own journey, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, what I would say, like, do not leave any project which is incomplete, right?
Mm-hmm.
Incomplete in a sense that I mean, not something which is not very well documented and all. You push some code with a not very good directory structure, files are scattered, not proper readme and all that kind of thing. Like, you should avoid. Have like everything proper, right? I mean, like, even though if you have 5 projects, make sure that it's well documented. Anybody who
Mm-hmm.
is checking out your profile, they can learn about that project, they can set it up, they can contribute to that, right? So that is one
Mm-hmm.
of the thing.
Right.
And yeah, readmes, I think there are a lot of tools like badges, tools, and all those things that you can use on GitHub. So check out Esica's readme. There's the profile readmes and all. Those are like really nice.
Okay. Okay. So, Vinod, I was curious about one more thing. You have been maintaining a project related to Girl Script Summer of Code. What is it all about?
Right. So I think it was about water monitoring system. So we are actually trying to automate the process of actually, the motors which used to fill the water tank, right? So just to reduce the wastage of water, like whenever there is overflow of water, it will basically notify the relevant person, right? Authorities, even in the household people, right? okay, the water is full now, you can turn off your motor. So this was a very basic project. We put it for girl script summer of code because that is another very uh, student friendly program, right? So they are like, I think 2000 students from different parts of the world they used to contribute. So uh,
Mhm.
yeah, so I think like that's also one of the good thing where you can start with, like apply for girl script summer of code. There you will find a lot of beginner friendly projects, and you can maybe that can be a stepping stone to your open source journey.
Okay. So will we have projects related to all kinds of domains, or is there any restriction on that?
No, no, all kinds of domain. That's the beauty of it, right? Open
Okay.
source, right? It's like open. Everything is there. You just have to
Uh-huh.
find your interest. You'll find everything there.
Right. Okay. So I mean, the students are quite interested about knowing a good source to get started with GitHub. Do you have any suggestions for that?
I think the now I want to thank Rituraj and Durga and the whole community, right? The student chapter who is actually hosting this, and they are one of the best shows to learn GitHub. Yeah. I mean, they are hosting this event, and they are connecting you with the right people. Apart from this, I think you are just a Google search away. Once you Google it out, you'll find a lot of things. I think learning Git and GitHub you can learn from anywhere. Ishika, if you have some best resources, you can talk about that.
I don't have a video in specific, but like you can just randomly pick up a video and start watching it and start implementing it. And also, I'm pretty sure that CrossNot also have some videos on it, if I'm not wrong, Beneath. We can share the link for that.
Yes, yes, we have some. Okay, we'll
Okay.
find like send you
Yeah.
guys. Like, I'll just try to
But
check.
honestly saying, doesn't matter which video you're watching, all of them are same. You just have to git edit, git push. That's it.
Okay. So uh, I have a question. Maybe it might sound very basic, but I think it is very important. What's the difference between Git and GitHub? What's that important, line that divides both?
Yeah, that's actually a very excellent question, right? So Git is a like a version control system, right? So on top
Uh-huh.
of Git is like a it's a way to collaborate remotely for a project, right? So when we say version control system, I'll try to explain it in a very layman language. So let's assume that there is a project now. You are working from, let's say, Vellore. I'm working from Bangalore. Iska is working from Noida, and we want to contribute to the given project, right? So there should be some central repository, some way to contribute to that, right? The Git was created to solve that problem, right? So, and the second use case was like, I'll give you another example. Let's assume that you see, right, you have to maintain a lot of versions of a given software, right? This is the,
Right.
if you remember Facebook back in 2007 or 8, right? That UI, if you remember, right? Now this UI, but that code is still maintained, right? So maintaining the different versions and all, it simplifies the whole process, right? That is something which Git does for us, and GitHub is kind of like uh, you can say like there are, it's UI over Git, right? So it's like interface for Git, but now GitHub is a lot of things. Like GitHub has a lot of other features as well, right? So the basic functionality is like it provides an UI over Git. Now it's like a GitHub is like a collaboration platform for all sort of open source activities, right? You can maintain project, you can contribute to project, you can maintain your own profile which can act as your portfolio. You can start discussions, you can release packages, you can be part of the different programs as Ishika mentioned, GitHub Campus Expert, etc., right? And you can author GitHub actions, CI/CD is attached to it. You can write OAuth apps, so many things. Like it's like once you start exploring, you'll find a lot of good things over here, right? So, but the basic difference between Git and the different platforms like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab. So I would say like Git is version control system, and it's just UI over it, right? So maybe like another example, I'm not sure like how appropriate is this, but when you use Linux, you have to do everything through terminal, right? But if you use Windows or Mac OS, okay, everything is on UI, right? Same thing. Git interact
Okay,
through
okay,
terminal
right.
and all that. But there are a lot of clients for Git, right? You can download it, you can use it.
Okay, that was a good clarification. Okay, there's one more question from our audience. Do companies reach out to you? What about freelancing?
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, so we do freelance. Like I actually do a lot of freelance these days. So for that, like you have to start somewhere, right? So in the beginning, you might have some difficulties to find a client for you, because it happens that when you are getting started, like you will be like, trust me, like my story, I remember like the first freelance project which I did when I was in second year of my college. I was paid 2,000 for it, full fledged website, just 2,000, right? But I was doing it for experience. I was just doing it for getting into the world, right? Freelancing world. A lot of my friends, they don't do it like, okay, we have to spend a lot of time and we are not getting paid. Let's not do it, right? But don't think that way. You can start freelancing even in the beginning, right? I mean, this is not right, but maybe you can start as a free, right? Even though if you find a really good project, you are not getting paid, get started, right? When you are getting paid just for a, let's say, like the price of a sandwich, a price of a coffee, that's fine. Like you just get started. That's how you will understand the ecosystem. You'll know the people, you'll connect with the different people, and then you start getting good projects, right? So there are a lot of websites where you can find. So I think for freelancing, you can just search it over there, and you'll find a lot of website for that. Upwork is there, and but they're like finding a freelance task from these platforms might be difficult as a beginner, because there are a lot of freelancers there who has a very good profile, very good rating, right? The things works there as a rating, right? In web development, there will be people who has a very good rating. So I think in college, right, in VIT, what I would suggest, like just get connected with the seniors, right? The seniors who are in your college, or the seniors who has been graduated from VIT, right? Trust me, like you will find your seniors everywhere, right? So you can reach out to any one of us. Let us know that, okay, you are looking for some freelance project. Will I think someone will definitely have something, and they will actually get connected with them, and you can get started. So it's about like be a hungry fox, and just keep hustling, keep searching, and you'll find it. Like it's not something that you can get it in a single day. You have to
yeah.
explore for months.
Also, I
Sure.
would like to add one more thing. Like, for me, what happened was like since I've already told you guys about that, I used to do learning in public. So whenever I used to share my project with everyone on Twitter, so a lot of companies, a lot of people used to reach out to me to collaborate, to do freelancing jobs, to work in their company, in their startups. So like I'm just going to emphasize on the fact that whatever you're doing, show it to public, just don't keep it to yourself. Because if you're going to keep it to yourself, who's going to tell everyone that you already know about this, and then that you can do these. Like as Vineet said, when you check out the freelancing websites, and already there are so many people who are already doing so much work. How would you distinguish in between an experienced person and a beginner person, right? If you don't show
Any
your work
solid work.
to public, how are they going to believe in you? So
Definitely.
be like, rather than posting, being updated on social medias like Instagram or Facebook, focus on Twitter, focus on sharing your projects on Twitter, because that is one of the best place where you can find internship opportunities or job opportunities. And over there you'll find hundreds of developers who will be willing to help you out and providing you with some freelancing projects or job opportunities, or they'll just directly reach out to you. Because trust me on this, when I posted about my 100 days of journey, I'm not even kidding, I got around 20-30 offers in a week. So trust me, give it a try.
Oh my God.
I think knowing the real potential of Twitter is,
Okay.
I think that tech Twitter is really great, right? I think maybe like I would suggest like you can check out Ishika's profile, or like me, my friends, others' profile, and you'll find like how we are utilizing Twitter, right? So I'm not sure like how do we share. Ishika, if you could just share your handle in maybe chat, they can look at that, right? So uh, I think like there like you have to just find people, right? And I mean you just tag people that, okay, help me with this, and they'll be there, right? So take Twitter is actually great, right? I think Twitter is kind of a go-to platform for us, even for ranting, even for talking about the sleepless night that we had to solve a bug, or ranting about your college, company, etc.
Maybe LinkedIn is also quite helpful when it comes to uh, telling people that you have been working.
Yeah, thanks for adding that, Durga.
Okay, so okay. Okay, we have another question. Is GitHub Stack specific for some colleges or is it open for everybody?
It's open for everyone until unless you have the college ID. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So uh, I think that's all from our end, and that's all from the audience end. We don't see any more questions. Okay, so uh, hoping that the session was quite informative. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for having participated in the session. It is your presence that fulfills the purpose of the event. And here's a small reminder: we expect the participants and the 2CC members to fill out the attendance form circulated in the chat. And I once again thank every one of you for your presence. It was wonderful interacting with our speakers. Their dedication to the subject matter and intentions to share and learn are extremely inspiring. We are grateful for your presence, Vinith and Ishika. And I'm sure we have loads of learnings to carry with us today from the session. Thank you again for joining us and sharing everything you have with your juniors, Vinith. And thanks for accompanying and making the event complete, Ishika. Last but not the least, I thank all the members of SIAM for helping in organizing such an illuminating event for the students. So stay tuned for more such amazing events and workshops from SIAM-VIT. Hope to see you all in our future events as well. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Durga. Thank you so much. And I'm
Thank you.
excited to know like when you guys are hosting this offline, like offline crowd.
Definitely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.